And Muzaffar Qutuz, he received this letter from Hulagu, and Hulagu demanded that Egypt surrender, otherwise the same thing that befell Baghdad would also befall Egypt. Muzaffar Qutuz then held a council, and he decided that he will fight. He decided that he was going to fight. Now, it's very important to know that who are the type of people that Muzaffar Qutuz surrounded himself with. Muzaffar Qutuz, he had love for the ulama, and the ulama that, were ulama of honor. And he surrounded himself with one of the greatest ulama in history. His name was Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam, Shafi'i ulama. You always hear Abdullah Azzam talking about him, Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam. And Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam, he was one man that didn't fear anybody. And before Muzaffar Qutuz came to power, one day there was a king in Egypt, and this king, his name was Ismail ibn Adil. He was the king of Egypt at that time. And he had sought help from the Crusaders against his own brother, because he was afraid about his brother, that his brother would compete against him. And so King Ismail, he then supported the Crusaders, and he gave the Crusaders money, and he even gave them fortress, and he allowed them to come to Sham and buy weapons, to be like a buffer against his brother. To be a buffer against his brother, because this man Ismail was scared that his brother would compete with him in the kingship of Egypt. So he helped the Crusaders and said, if there's any problem for my brother, then you come to my aid. And then this Shaykh Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam, he was at that time like responsible for the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Justice, had all these powers, and he was the Imam of Al-Jami'ah Al-Umayyah. He was the Imam of that large masjid at that time. He then made a fatwa saying selling arms to the Crusaders is haram, and he didn't make any dua for the king at that time in the khutbah of Jumu'ah. And at that time, if no one made dua for the king, it was seen as if he is not giving the bay'ah and he's relinquished his bay'ah. And so he was stripped of all his positions and he was expelled. Many scholars then came to Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam and said to him, look, come back to your position, say sorry, it's better that you come and be in the government, you can change the government with inside, come back please, we need you. Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam, he refused, and he said these words: قرأت العلم لأكون سفيرا بين الله وبين عباده. I read knowledge, I studied ilm to become a diplomat between Allah and His servants. وأتردد على هؤلاء, and you expect me to go to these people and seek money and seek positions? The only reason I studied ilm is to be a diplomat between Allah and His servants. And then it was said to him, all you have to do is kiss his hand, kiss the hand of the king, and he'll let you go. And he said, والله ما أرضى أن يقبل يدي فضلا أن أقبل يده يا قومي إنني في واد وأنتم في واد والحمد لله عفاني مما ابتلاكم به. He said, I am not happy that this king, right, kisses my hand and you expect me to go and kiss his hand. I'm not happy that he comes and kisses my hand. It was my people, I am in one valley and you are in another valley. So I'm in one world, you are living a completely different life than me. Yeah? And he said, Alhamdulillah, that Allah has saved me from this trial that He's, trialed you with. And so this is the kind of alim that Muzaffar Qutuz surrounded himself by. Muzaffar Qutuz, he ordered that the tax be increased above zakat. Add tax because we need to make weapons, we need shields, we need horses, we need to train people, we need to defend, we need money. And so he started to raise the tax. Al-Izz ibn Abdus Salam said, O Muzaffar Qutuz, I will not allow you to raise the taxes until you and all your people first give from all the gold and the treasures that lie in your vaults. And all the princes, first they must give that in the way of Allah, and then I will say to the people, and I'll agree in raising of the taxes. So you can see that the person that he surrounded himself with. And this is one of the faults today, that many of these leaders, they don't surround themselves with the pious and honorable ulama. Now, the Mongols, they had sent messengers to Muzaffar Qutuz. They had sent messengers to Muzaffar Qutuz. And what Muzaffar Qutuz started to feel was that the Syrians that had fled and ran, and all the other countries, the Khawarizmis and all the people that had fled, all the Muslim lands that come to Egypt, he was worried that these people, they will buckle, they will be scared, they will be cowards, and they will not fight. They will not fight because they ran away. They didn't fight in the first place, and they ran away. So he thought, what should he do about this? How can he prevent them from deserting? And so it was suggested that all these soldiers, they would be killed. And so they were killed, and their heads were stuck on poles on the streets of Egypt, of Cairo. They were put on poles and they hung. And then the Syrians knew that that's it. Now, for sure, the Tartars are going to come into Egypt, and we can run wherever we can run. We're never going to be able to run away from them. Even up to the Atlantic, they're going to come. So it's more, we might as well stand our ground and fight. There's nowhere else to run, because they know now, because of what Muzaffar Qutuz has done, that the Tartars are going to come. And some of the chiefs, some of the people that wanted to run, Muzaffar Qutuz go, run, take your money, leave. Some of the chiefs, some of the princes, he let them go. We don't want you, but we want people that are going to be brave and honorable in jihad. So they moved on to the plain of jihad. And firstly, Muzaffar Qutuz went, and then also Zahir Baybars, he led an army, and he was the cavalry. The Baybars was the cavalry, and Muzaffar Qutuz had the infantry with him. And then when they reached the borders of Egypt, when they're going to meet the Mongols, and if you look at your map, the Mongols, they were coming down from Lebanon. Okay, they're taken over Baghdad, and they're coming from the north direction, from Lebanon down where now towards Palestine, where Philistine is, where Jerusalem is. And so Muzaffar Qutuz, he decided to meet them. So he was leaving Egypt, leaving Cairo, and going to meet them. And the actual battle, it was going to take place somewhere in Palestine. And when they reached the borders of Egypt, many of the Egyptians, they hesitated. Fear overtook them. And then Muzaffar Qutuz, he said he would fight the pagans single-handedly and on his own if necessary. And those who wanted to leave him, they are free to go. And then he marched with the Mongols, with the Mamluks, not the local Egyptians, but the Mamluks that had come to Egypt. He marched forward and said, I'm going to leave you alone. Even if it's me on my own, I will fight these people. And then the rest of the Egyptians, they joined and they followed the example of their leader. Now, the Mongols, they were known for their quickness. They were known that they would, when the Mongols would take over any country, or they'd move across land, they'd move very rapidly. But Muzaffar Qutuz was also very fast, and the Mongols were also very fast. And the Mongols at that time were, today is, where Gaza or Gaza is today, that's where they were. And what had happened is that that's a garrison of the Mongols was stationed. And Muzaffar Qutuz immediately sent Zahir Baybars on his cavalry to chase after them, and before they could even flee, they were mown down, that garrison of Mongols, by Zahir Baybars.